Hi friends, I think you'll love this tutorial on how to make simple yet stunning cards using napkins or pattern paper in your stash using simple shaped die cuts. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Katya and I love sharing my love for paper crafting with you, so I appreciate you liking and subscribing. Let's get into the tutorial. Now this technique works really best with solid shaped die cuts. I'm using the So Many Butterflies collection designed by B.B. Cameron from Spellbinders. You can use hearts, circles, squares, stars, anything that you want that is a solid shape because you want to show off your napkin print or your pattern paper. So here on my desk, I have already cut the largest of the dies in both white and black cardstock. Now you're going to want to put white cardstock behind your napkins because of the thin paper. It's going to show the color of your cardstock. Now you can use colored cardstock, but the image that you put from your napkin may not be as vibrant. I'm using this broad-tipped glue pen from Zig, and I'll need to get the glue to come to the tip because it's my first time using it. So to get the glue to reach the nib, I'm just pressing it onto my silicone craft mat and wait until I see the glue saturate the tip. Then I'll know it's ready. So it's coming out here. For those of you who may want to ask if you can use any other kind of adhesive, yes, you can. You just want to make sure that the adhesive remains tacky so that the napkin can adhere to the cardstock. What I like about using this glue is that when you apply it first, it goes on blue, but when it's ready and dry to the touch, it becomes clear. So then I know that I can put my layer of napkin down on the cardstock. And because that tip of the pen, glue pen, is so broad, it covers a lot of real estate in a very short period of time. Now you can also use tape runner adhesive, but to me that wasn't the most economical choice, so the Zig Glue two-way pen worked best for me. Now this set of napkins to me is just gorgeous. I absolutely love the images and I could not wait to use these napkins on a card. These napkins are 3-ply, so off camera I removed the 2 white layers underneath. And the reason you want to remove the extra white backing layers is so that the napkin is easier to work with and then you get less wrinkles in your design. There were so many areas of this napkin I would have loved to adhere to the cardstock, and I finally found a spot that I really liked. And I wound up trimming the napkin so that I could get better control of handling it. Okay, so here it is. You can see that I cut it in half and my glue is dry on the butterfly die cut, and I'm just going to lay this down as carefully as I can to put it on the butterfly. And the nice thing is that that butterfly die cut is white so I can see where I'm laying it. Now you want to make sure that any wrinkles you have in it, just pull them in very gently so that you get a nice clean coverage. And then I'm going to put this type of plastic on top and use a brayer to really adhere the napkin to that die cut. And because that glue is still a little bit tacky and sticky, I didn't want to get that on my brayer. Now in this example, I've already cut the butterfly, but I found it much easier to adhere the napkin to cardstock and then die cut. Stick around because I'll demonstrate that a little later in this video. Now I realize that I can simply trim around the butterfly because it's a simple shape, but because that napkin is so flimsy, I just thought it would be better to run it through my die cut machine instead. So off camera, I took that large butterfly die cut, ran it through my machine, and then just peeled off little pieces of it that were still sticking to it. So isn't that just stunning? I love it so much. So when I'm making cards, I usually stack white cardstock underneath my die cuts to give them dimension because I love it. But this time I thought I would be using black cardstock to really make them pop and really bring out the dies for more of an impact. So I added 2 white cardstock butterflies together and then about 3 black die cuts behind that. And I love that unexpected color of black to give it a really dramatic look. Now in this example, I used black cardstock behind the white cardstock, but if you have a napkin choice that has a dominant color pattern, you can use a shade of cardstock that closely matches the pattern on your napkin. That would be pretty too. You're not just limited to black or white. I also decided to cut the butterfly body out of black cardstock, and that was just to tie everything together. And I want to share with you an easy trick when it comes to using thin cardstock. You basically take the tape runner adhesive onto one side of the paper, sandwich it to another piece of cardstock the same size, and then die cut. That's going to save you time, and instead of gluing 3 or 4 pieces of die cuts together, you only have to glue it once. The other bonus about doing that is that if you're working with small or intricate die cuts, they become more sturdy and much easier to manage. So I'm applying the body to the die cut, and then to help it stay in place while it dries, I'm going to put my heavy glass paperweight on it. Now I'm showing you this Enchanting Vines embossing folder from Altenew because I did wind up running it through my die cut machine and embossing this paper here, and I thought it was beautiful, but I didn't use it on the large butterfly die cut. I used it on another one, so stay tuned, I'll show you that in the end. So I had this idea to make these die cuts glossy by adding a product we're probably all familiar with. So I know many of us in the crafting industry have used things like glossy accents, or in this case, Nouveau Crystal Glaze, myself included. But as I've learned in this industry, the same products are used but marketed with different names. And this hobby can get really expensive. So in my stash, I have this product called Triple Thick, and it is a gloss glaze, and I'm pretty convinced it's the exact same thing as glossy accents. The glaze left over in this bottle was a little goopy, and I believe it's a water-based product, so to thin it down, I simply added some Triple Thick to the little bottle and some warm water to loosen the product. You will see me add this glaze to the die cut and see that a bit of some of it comes out in chunks, and I didn't like that because it made it really unattractive. But I quickly remedy that by removing it and then switching directly to the large bottle of Triple Thick instead, since this is such a large die cut with a lot of space to cover. So this silicone tool has a stylus on one end and a silicone tip on the other. Now these tools have become valuable to me as a paper crafter. So you can easily remove glue with them and nothing sticks to the silicone tip. It just peels right off when it's dry. So if you don't have any of these, I highly recommend getting them. And everything that I'm using in this video I will have in the description box below. So as I'm spreading this Triple Thick around onto the right side of the butterfly die cut, I just wanted to mention too that you can put this as thin or as thick as you like. I was really hoping for sort of like a domed look, but I have a feeling that the paper napkin underneath is so thin that it really caused the glaze to be a little bit more uneven and a little bit bumpy, but I don't care. I really like the rustic look. And if you stick around to the end, I'll show you another way you can get a similar look with a shiny die cut using packing tape, and it's really easy. One of the other downsides to making these types of cards is the length of time you have to wait to get this product to dry. But when it's dry, holy cow, look at how beautiful these are. I can't wait to make cards out of these and show you the final product in the end. So these are the smaller die cuts I did. This is the largest one I started with, and I glazed the other side, and these turned out beautiful. Now, if you have no interest at all in using a glaze to get that wet, glossy look because of the dry time, you can also use packing tape or clear adhesive sheets. And in this example, I'm using a sheet from this paper pack I had in my stash called Confetti Wishes from Pink Paisley. And you can see that I bought it from Tuesday morning, right before all of those stores closed in my state. What a bummer, because Tuesday morning had the best craft deals on things like dyes and paper, things like this. So I'm adhering this piece of packing tape down, and I'm going to mention that you're going to want to run this through your die cut machine a couple of times, because the stronger the tape that you're using, the more times you're going to have to run it through your die cut machine. And I'm just showing you my favorite scissors here when I cut anything sticky, because these are non-stick scissors and they are the best. Highly recommend. Anyway, I'm just going to cut off the excess tape here, and I'm adhering it to my small silicone mat because nothing will stick to that and I can easily clean that. Now you see that shiny appearance, and I'm going to cut these butterflies all down that row there where I have that packing tape. So here is the end result. I cut little bodies out of the gold paper that I had in my stash, and look at those glossy butterflies. So no dry time waiting. I just simply used clear packing tape. And again, you're going to want to use a really inexpensive packing tape and make sure that it covers the width of your die cut. So in this case, I cut white bodies to put as layers underneath, and then I also added some foam dots because I thought that would be pretty with all that dimension. I don't have sentiments on a couple of these cards yet, but I plan to add them. But this is what they look like. So you can see the glossy accent type product dries with a little bit of texture, and that's okay because you can still see the print on it. But the butterflies have that packing tape, which is much more uniform and glossy looking as well, and really, really pretty. So here is another look at each one of the cards. So the large butterfly I die cut, and then I used this really beautiful die cut that was really kind of tough to work with. But this is also from Spellbinders, and it doesn't cut the strip that you see there. I wound up cutting that twice just so I would have two strips to put on my card and then a large white piece to put right behind the butterfly. And this is the product that you can order if you're interested. And here is the butterflies, again from BB Cameron. And this is the final card. I love how this turned out. Can't wait to put a sentiment on it when I decide what sentiment I want to use. And then here are the other two that I made. So this is again using the glossy product, and I did add some rhinestones and a small sentiment in there, and that's the embossing folder that I told you I was going to use on that card from Altenew. Love it. Loved how this turned out. These cards were really a labor of love. As many of you crafters know, when you make a card or cards, sometimes they don't turn out the way you want them, and it's a lot of a struggle process, but these were really pretty. I was really happy with them. Again, so here is the final look at all of them, and I'll show you close-ups as well too, so you can kind of get a feel for what I finished. But do you see that black cardstock on those butterflies? They turned out great. And these I just used white stacked with foam as well, and this is using the packing tape. That is it for me. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think of these, and ciao for now.